a part of me is convinced like there is something wrong with us. Because this is abnormal. It is not normal to do the things that we do and take the risks that we take and make the sacrifices that we make. There is a point where the industry and the career can take like a large mental toll on you if you aren't well prepared or well supported or able to ask for help. Orange hat. Just shot. Oh, you're fine. My name is Desiree Melanson. I am 37 years old, and I am a professional snowboarder, an artist, and a therapist in training. Man, I originally started snowboarding when I was 16. Went with my parents around like Thanksgiving time, and yeah, I just kind of got obsessed with it really quick. And snowboarding means to me freedom of expression mixed with opportunity. It's art and movement. It's like dancing. So I dropped out of high school. I went through a lot of trauma. Kind of the only thing that I really cared about was snowboarding. I hopped into the filming scene really quick. I grew up with like a VX in my hand. I filmed my friends skateboarding, and then I started filming my friends snowboarding. And for me, it was funny because I didn't know anyone in snowboarding, but I found out pretty quickly that if I was the person who owned the camera, people wanted to be my friend, because then I would film them. We would just swap off, like I'd film my homies would film me. Like obviously we started in the park and then got into street riding fairly quickly. So yeah, just kind of became like a little park rat mixed with me trying to hit rails that I had no business hitting. My snowboarding career was tough. I had many years of learning resilience and kind of just learning how to get by because of like my gender and like snowboarding being a patriarchal landscape. Like there were challenges that I had to go through that like a lot of my peers didn't have to go through. When I came on the scene, I was kind of celebrated for like riding like a guy. There were these really intense like gender stereotypes, and it was kind of like the perfect combination of narcissism mixed with self-deprecation, mixed with resiliency and depression and anxiety. I would say I ignored my mental health for as long as I could while I was chasing the dream of being a pro snowboarder. I used snowboarding as an escape, and then eventually snowboarding turned into the cause of mental anguish for me. The reason why we're sitting here today, like I eventually tried to kill myself. Felt like I didn't belong here, and I would never belong here, and no one would ever accept me for who I was, and everything that I was doing was irrelevant. But also like that's hard because I am quite celebrated in the space of snowboarding, but then there's like the behind the scenes stuff that makes it so you really kind of convince yourself that you are worthless. So that was, for me, a pretty big like wake-up call. I didn't ask for help. I didn't have resources. I didn't know really what was happening. I just knew that living was extremely unbearable. And for me, like the concept of like not being in pain anymore was really enticing. I had to do an entire mental restructure because I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to see myself in the mirror. Kind of started focusing on resource sharing and community building and connection and actual purpose. It's not that me being the professional snowboarder was what made me happy. It's me getting to exist in this space and facilitate opportunity for like others and seeing others flourish And that makes me so happy. It's cool as hell. It's really hard to exist in an industry where you're consistently like compared to others, and you are also taught to not only be humble but be the best. And then if you're not the best, chances are you won't get re-signed. And if you blink, there's somebody waiting in line. That alone is so impacting on like somebody's identity and the ways that we function. So there's a lot of mental health sacrifice that goes into pursuing this like whatever like dream of being like a professional snowboarder.
My name is Jack Coyne. I'm 23 years old and I'm a snowboarder. Started snowboarding when I was 4 years old. I grew up in Edwards, Colorado and always rode Vail, Colorado. My two older sisters were skiers and my dad was a snowboarder, and I saw Dad riding and thought that was awesome. So that kind of kicked off my love for snowboarding. So early days were contests, and I did both slopestyle and half pipe, starting from USASAs into the Rev Tours, and then doing some World Cups. And I ended up focusing on half pipe for a good 4 years, and I was on the US snowboard team for that, and we did the World Cup circuit, and that was really awesome, traveling the world. And after that, kind of started to find this route of filming and snowboarding, and seeing a lot of my favorite professional snowboarders and kind of asking them how it all works, and kind of has led me down the path of starting to make some video parts and being in movies. Mental health can definitely hurt your performance snowboarding. I mean, it's tough to be going through mental struggles and turn it off when you get on the hill. You don't see like what professional athletes are having to deal with on the side, and what problems they're going through and what problems they're trying to escape while they're skiing and snowboarding. So it definitely has an effect, and if it's affecting your performance, then it's kind of a downhill spiral and you're just bummed out, and your escape of skiing and snowboarding is not really helping. I mean, I've definitely seen friends leave snowboarding because mental health has kind of brought them out of it and they haven't been able to focus on what they love. And I've seen friends pass and not be able to recover from these mental health problems. And it is really tough to see, and knowing that there are outlets out there to help with these problems and there are people around you, it is tough to see, but I think we can start making that more known. Mental health problems get way worse when you isolate yourself and you don't have an opportunity to talk about it, or you don't have an opportunity to at least be with people who might inquire about your feelings or have an opportunity to share. And if you're in a space with a bunch of people who you know really care and are really open, you can share what you're feeling and it'll never be taken wrong. Like, everyone in this community is here to help each other, and you see someone going through some stuff, you want to jump and help because you know if you were in that situation, they would do the same.
Once I had like the mental restructure, and once I really started investing in like researching mental health and reading about therapy, there was a lack of mental health representation within the culture. There is an answer to the problem that I am seeing, and that's to create something to fill the void. So Stay was made to fill that void so that we could have something that people could go to, you know, before moments of crisis, or to find community and connection surrounding having mental health issues, or to have something after crisis when you lose a loved one to suicide or just to death. You know, in the snowboarding landscape, like, there is a lot of grief because there's actually quite a lot of death. And death is the one thing that we are not taught how to cope with. We try to support people after crisis. So we do that by basically, we host like free suicide prevention trainings. I'm really like proud of our programming. I think it's really like normalized, and it really takes the power of knowing what to do when like yourself or your friend needs something. It puts it in your hands, it puts it in the community's hands, and it makes it so that when that crisis does arise, you know the steps to take to make it so that yourself or your like friend makes it to the next day. Additionally, aside from that, we host community events, which provides individuals like the opportunity to like make friends or meet safe spaces or just like come together and connect in a space that's okay with talking about mental health and okay with talking about suicide, because not a lot of those spaces really exist. We like had the opportunity to partner with Woodward the last couple years, where Woodward grants us access to their facilities. And then the most recent one, we kind of just had a group meetup day, and then we did a cookout with the Gosney pizza thing. So it brought people together by food too. We had a mental health panel where myself, Jill Perkins, and Bino all openly discussed our struggles with mental health, our experiences, our opinions. And this was facilitated by a licensed therapist. Kind of opened up the conversation to the audience so that they could ask questions and kind of have access to information that they wouldn't really have otherwise.
It was really awesome to see a place where people are talking about their mental health and it's really out in the open, and you see these professional athletes that we look up to, and knowing that they went through problems and they got through it through things like this and talking to their people. And it was really awesome to be able to see that and really come together and know that this community is pretty strong.
You have fun at the event?
The event was sick. We were cruising. Like to visually see the community and know like these people are here and they can have my back, and this is a place I can go when I'm down. Like Stay is a place that is a vocal outlet of me being able to go somewhere and help figure out a problem. I think that's huge.
It felt really good to like see the community come together for the Woodward event. It's so impacting to see two strangers meet and, you know, high five and then take laps together, and all of a sudden they're friends. You know, that's the beauty of community, and that's the beauty of connection, and just being able to like provide a safe space for people to come together. Community is suicide prevention. So we're just trying to do our due diligence and creating that community. Hopefully Stay will progress to a point where we just get like consistent donations so that we can continue to do the work that we're doing. My personal goals are to see it in high school settings and in college settings, and just being used as a accessible tool where young adults and kids are like able to be like, oh yeah, like this resonates with me and I know what to do if I'm suicidal or if my homies are suicidal. And also it's cool to fuck with this.
I think in the past we definitely saw that as like, this guy might be weak, or you know, he's a professional athlete, he should be strong, he should be able to get through this. But it's way easier to go do a double cork than ask your homies for help. And I think that's a stigma we should try and break down.
It's okay to not be okay, and please ask for help. Learn how to ask for help. And yeah, we just try to lighten the load on that.